Hi, and welcome to the Great Awakening podcast. I'm your host, Giselebrun, and today's very special guest is a friend of mine, Zen Kalryzian, and he is a dad strategist. Welcome, Jay.
Hi, how's it going?
That's great. Thanks for coming on the show. Please tell us your story. Tell us how you got to become a dad strategist, and what does
Oh,
that mean for you?
just dive right into it, eh? Just jump, go. Okay, what's a dad
Yeah,
strategist?
yeah.
Um, it was kind of weird to figure out what it is that I exactly do, but um, I'll dive into the story. So I was a stay-at-home dad for about 7 years, and I have two amazing little boys. They are now 5 and 8, and I did everything with them. I homeschooled them. I did the groceries, the diapers, the throw up, all of the stuff, and it was phenomenal, and I loved every second of it. And then when COVID hit, my partner was working from home. I was homeschooling the kids in the basement. It got really tight really quick. And long story short, me and my wife separated, and I needed to do something. So I was like, if I could do anything in the world, what would it be? And it would help other dads just kind of with the situation that I was in. How do you parent? How do you do all the things? Because I just love it so much. I wanted to stay in it, but I needed to kind of switch gears. Both my kids are in school now, so I had some time. So I put together a program. I worked with my coach, and now we have the Zen Dad Method, which is a course, a coaching, and then collaboration. So we do those three things, and I just help strategize with the dads how they need help in their lives. If it's coaching, if it's financial, if it's whatever it is. I mean, sometimes it's just burnout. It's just some tricks and tips. So I connect with a lot of dads. I connect with a lot of parents, and I just help out where I can. So that's pretty much what a dad strategist does and how I kind of got into it. That's the real short version of it, though.
Tell us a bit about the programs and how other dads, some of our listeners might be interested to find out what kind of program you put together for fathers, and how they can help them going forward.
Yeah, so the Zen Dad Method has three parts to it. It's got the course, the coaching, and the collaboration. So the first part is the course, and we really dive into what the beliefs are, the priorities are, how you spend your time, just kind of clarity on your world, first of all. And there's 10 modules in the course. After those three, we get into your body, mind, and soul, or spirit, depends how you want to say it. And as you go through each week, you get a different module, and your coach will kind of guide you through, talk about the stuff. You go over all the things that you're doing in the course, and your coach can get more specific with you. We can't just make a cookie cutter course for every dad. It's impossible. Dads I work with, I've got a dad who's got a 15-year-old daughter, and they're butting heads right now. And I've got another dad who's got a 6-month-old, and he's just losing his mind. They have very different problems,
Yeah.
One is completely sleep deprived. The other one's like constantly arguing with his daughter who knows everything. So they have very different problems. So you can't just make a course for dads. You have to kind of make the foundations, and then the coaching comes in so that dads get their specific needs met. And then there's real change there. And once
Yes.
you have that change, and once you have a good idea of who you are, where you're going, you've got that clear path, you've got support, then we find ways to work with you to maybe make your financial situation a little bit better. So we collaborate with you in a bunch of different ways. And it could be as easy as just sharing your transformational story on social media. Say, this is where I was at the beginning of the Zen Dad Method. This is where I am now. And then we work with you to make some cool things happen there too. So yeah, it's a pretty robust method that we have, but it's been tried, tested, and true, and we've gotten some amazing results. We've got very happy dads, very happy kids, and that's the goal, right? Happy dads, happy kids, happy everyone, win-win-win situations. That's what
Yes.
we're looking to create.
That's awesome. I think that's fantastic.
Thanks.
So are your programs in person or online only, or are they both geared
Everything
to
is
both?
online.
Okay.
Everything's online. We do Zoom calls. So you
Right.
do, the course is 10 modules. You get a dad map. So we just send this to you, you print it
Cool.
off. It's a big workbook and it's your kind of journey. So you
Nice.
do the dad map, you
Hmm.
watch the videos. The course is only, you get 20 to 30 minutes a week to watch one of the modules. And
Oh,
then you take
wonderful.
the module and you put it into practice. You know, you're using the
Hmm.
techniques and the skills, everything during that week. You meet up with your coach and you talk about what's worked, what hasn't worked, if there's any pain points, if there's
Hmm.
other things in your life that are going on that you got to focus on. So it's really a 10-week program that you get. You get 10 weeks of coaching with that. And then we continue to work with you after that with collaboration.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great.
Sip of tea. My goodness,
Yeah,
I'm talking a lot.
that's great. So your services are open via your website, I would think. And
Yeah.
okay, so that's great. So we're going to put all of your links below in the description so that if and when whoever resonates with what you do and is curious as to know what you do, then they can go and check that out there.
Yeah.
Um, we're going through some really challenging times. They can be challenging and they are exciting at the same time because
Good way to
the
put it.
yeah, the old is crumbling, the new is being created as we speak. It's all about how we look at things, our perception. And I wanted to ask you, like, during these epic times that we're working in right now, what would you recommend we do less of and maybe more of?
What what would we do less of and what would we do more of? Those are great questions. Um, I would do No, I would recommend, well, I mean, I do this. I'm trying to do this. This is one of the biggest things. I would do less screen time. That's been a huge battle for me,
Hmm.
is just getting off my screen, especially with all the work that I do and the messages that I
Yes.
send and social media and things like that. So screen time has become, I think, a huge problem, not only for adults, but for kids also.
Hmm.
And I think that when we're always connecting through a screen, we're missing out on that real connection that we have with people.
Yes.
And we become addicted to the chemicals in our bodies. They figured out a way to induce a drug addiction without ever having to give you anything physically. So just by the dings and the pings and all that, the rings that you get from your phone and how we're
Hmm.
constantly staring at it, it produces those chemicals in your body and you get addicted to it. Well,
Hmm.
that creates all sorts of mental health issues, disconnection from your family, your friends. You stop feeling good from other stuff. All you want is that constant drip of dopamine.
Hmm.
So that would be my less thing to do. And my more thing to do would be get outside into nature and get into those natural states. I have a couple of waterfalls near me. I live in the Niagara area. So
Hmm.
I'm by Niagara Falls, the Gorge, Rockway, DQ. So I get out to there as much as I possibly can. And that's what I would do more of for sure.
Absolute wisdom. Thank you for
Thank
sharing.
you.
That's fantastic. No, it's true. We don't always realize how much time we actually spend on our computers and devices. And because we're so addicted to these little machines, we don't realize what's right in front of us many times. So,
Yeah.
yes, by taking a step back and just allowing nature and the children and hugs to be a part of our daily lives, less of the screen time will become more apparent as we go along. But thank you for that. That's really good advice. I think so. Anyway, I'm going to take it on.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah.
Absolutely. What does the Great Awakening mean to you?
The Great Awakening. In what sense?
What does it mean for you?
What does it mean for me? The Great
Yeah.
Awakening. What
Yes.
does the Great Awakening mean to me? I think that we have a global consciousness that's happening, and it's always been in an evolutionary state. We're always trying to get to higher states of consciousness. And right now, the Great Awakening to me the transition that we're going through seems to be more, well, I mean, part of me sees what happened through COVID and how everybody really had to face a lot of things that were going on in their lives. So that brought to light a lot of transformation. And it was a very dark time for a lot of people. But through that dark time, there was a lot of growth that happened. There was a lot of realizations. There was a lot of reframing of what it meant to be happy and what it meant to be empowered, how we set up boundaries with other people that may be toxic. So I think the Great Awakening is just, it's a way to look at the world a little bit different, to reframe what your place is in it and how we're interacting with each other. Because I mean, if we're just kind of surviving and getting through on a day-to-day, it doesn't really seem great. But when we're thriving and we're connecting and we're joyful, that's kind of where I want to be. And I think that people are starting to wake up to realizing that it's not about what you get in life. It's about who you are in life and what your day-to-day is. So we're kind of shifting away from, I need all this material stuff, to what does my day actually feel like? You know, what is it? What do I actually do all day long? Do I enjoy what I'm doing all day long? Does it feel good to me? That's where I think the real abundance in life is how you feel every day when you wake up, not what car I got, how big my house is, anything like that, but am I enjoying myself? So people are starting to awaken to happiness, I think.
Yes, that's very well said. Thank you.
Thanks.
What would be your biggest takeaway from the Great Awakening for you personally? What was your greatest takeaway from it?
From the Great Awakening?
From what's going on in
Well,
your
yeah, I
life?
think we're still in it. So I don't 100% know what my total takeaway is, but
So
from
far.
what I've gained so far. Well, you know what? I could have used these questions before. I'm just coming off the top of my head. These are big questions. These are big questions, Gisele. I think that I have a quote that's coming to my head. This too shall pass. And when we got into those really dark times, and when the world just seems like it's too much for you, you know, you are going to get through it. You know, we've all been through so much. Everybody's been through so much, and not just COVID, not just, you know, there's always been wars. There's always been problems. And if you're listening to this right now, you've made it this far, you know, good for you. More stuff is going to happen. More bad stuff is going to happen. More crazy stuff is going to happen, but it's going to pass, and it comes in waves. And I think that was a really big thing for me to discover, is that I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was. I can deal with a lot more problems than I thought I could. And I can help out a lot more people than I always thought I could. And some of the wisdom, some of the experiences that I've had, just sharing that stuff and sharing the techniques that I've used can really change a person's life. So knowing that and empowering myself to help other people has been a huge transformation for me. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I know it's
Thank
really
you for asking.
personal and deep, but I'm sure it's going to resonate with a lot of people, because we're
Yeah.
all going through such challenging times, but epic times, wonderful times too. Like, you know, because I mean, you're going through something hard, but then at the other side, once you get to the other side, it can be a beautiful rainbow of blessings that you didn't even think possible at that point in time when you were in the thick of it. So, you know, and I think that's great. I mean, what would you like to leave the audience with? Any last thoughts or anything that would be a little bit like maybe a tool or something that would help them to navigate the rest of the year?
Oh, I have so many. I have a list of tools that that's all I do all day long is, this is the tool you need. This is the tool you need. Try this strategy. Try this strategy. Yeah, well, taking action is a huge thing, because sometimes when we have to figure out the whole problem, before we take any action, it just takes forever, and it never works. We're just procrastinating at that point. And sometimes you've got to start the journey. You've got to get down the road before you can look down the streets and see which way to turn. Do you know what I mean? So when we actually take action, when we actually dive in and say, okay, this is the change that I want to make in my life, this is the things that I want to do, and this is the place that I want to be, we'll just start doing the thing and see what happens. You know, and sometimes just by doing that, the universe lines up things for you in a magical way. And you're like, whoa, wow, I didn't expect that to happen. Or, I didn't see it happening that way. But I'm glad that I took the action at the beginning to get the ball rolling so that all this stuff happens. Because when we take action, that's when the magic happens. And that's the role model I want to be for my kids. I want to be somebody who's taking action, who's trying and not afraid to fail. Because if we're always scared to fail, we're never going to learn. We always got to figure it all out before. And it just, that's not how life works. That's how we were taught as kids. You had to get an A in school and 100% on your tests and all that stuff. But that's not how life works. That's not how it goes. It's okay to fail. You learn so much when you fail. I'd rather fail really big than succeed little, because at least I'm trying. You know, I'm always trying. I'm trying things that are just impossible sometimes. And I love that energy. I love that adventure in it. And I want to share that with my kids. I want to show them that, yeah, you can take the risks. You can fail. It's okay. I'm still going to love you if you didn't get an A on that math test. It's okay. So that's a really big thing for me. And connecting. I think that connecting with people it's one of the most important things for us as humans. We've lost it. It used to be the lost art of conversation, and now it's just like the lost art of connecting. And just being face to face with somebody and just having their complete attention and focus and sharing that time and space it's so uncommon now. So what I do, and I'd love to offer this to your listeners, Gisele, I think this would be a perfect opportunity to share. I wrote a book, and it's called absolutely the number one most important book to read if you have kids.
Do you have it to show us? Show the audience.
I don't. It's an ebook, but I'll send you the link for it.
Yes,
I'll send you the link for it.
We'll put it
but
in.
It's a free download. Anybody with kids should read it. Right. And it's about the bedtime routine. And I use the bedtime routine, my bedtime routine, to really connect with my kids. And I use that to turn off screens, learn how to chill your body out, learn how to take care of yourself, do all the things that you need to do before bedtime. But then we read books together, and then we connect, you know, as the lights go off and everybody's now calm, everybody feels safe and secure. And this is the time to go over the day. Oh, what were some of your favorite things about today? You know, and I always tell, I did this today and I did this today and this was happening. And what should I do when this happens? And they'll give me advice. And then just naturally happens that they start to share with me. And so I've been doing this for years now. And it's such an important part of my parenting. I was like, I gotta write a book about this. And it's not a huge book, but it's just something that I can give parents that is really impactful. I had a really close friend, and she has a 6-year-old son. And for the last 4 years, they couldn't get him to sleep at all. And they asked their doctor and said, just give him some melatonin. It's all natural. Well, they didn't know that would mess him up. And every night they gave him melatonin for 4 years. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And that'll stop all the melatonin production in your body. Geez. And that's going to be really hard to get this kid to sleep. So she was still having problems with him after 4 years of this. And I'm like, you gotta stop that. We gotta fix this. Yeah. So I said, read the book and I'm going to coach you through this. And it took a couple of weeks. There was like a good 2-3 weeks of transition, but then that was it. No more melatonin. They have a routine and it works. And this was back in December last year. Great. And I check in every once in a while. How's bedtime? What's going on? You know, I want to know. Yeah, absolutely. Bedtime is fantastic. We've got a better connection now. I know what's going on in his world. And she really used that time to connect with her child and to build a relationship even stronger. And they're reading together at night. They get to figure out what happened during their day, because everybody's busy in that family. Everybody's super busy, right? Every family is super busy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy to give you that link so that all your readers
Yes,
can get
please.
for free.
Yes, I'm sure
I think that
that
would
they
be
would
fantastic.
love that, especially those that are they're facing challenges within their family unit. This would be really helpful for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jay. I
Yeah, you're
love
very welcome.
this. It's awesome, Absolutely awesome. Well, I
Yeah.
want to thank you so very much for joining me today. And perhaps we can have you on at a later date. You can come back and tell us a little bit more about what projects you would be working on down the road.
Oh
But
yeah. There's always lots. There's always lots
yeah,
happening.
yeah, that would be wonderful. Absolutely. So, again, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I'm really grateful to have you. And you have a really amazing day.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much, Gisele. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. See you next time.